gonna make you cut the grass, is what that's gonna make you do.
Oh.
Okay. I think we're about to. Commissioner, were you ready to start?
Yes.
We have one.
Yes.
Yes,
Would you like me to go ahead and call the roll?
please.
Okay. Committee Chair Commissioner Grace Ann Blake has called the meeting to order at 2:40 p.m. And I will begin calling roll now. Commissioner Blake,
Here.
Commissioner Burrell,
Yeah.
Commissioner Epperson,
Present.
Commissioner Crackman, Commissioner Young, John Paul Young, Commissioner Lazarus,
Here.
Commissioner Gage Watts, and I believe we will be adding Commissioner Atkins to this commission, to this committee.
Here as a courtesy.
But right now he is not on the committee, but he is present. That being said, you do have 4 committee members present of the 7, and that does constitute a quorum. So we can move on. We did have an invocation and a pledge of allegiance in our previous meeting. Would you like to accept those, or?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move forward then to agenda additions, where I'm not aware of any agenda additions today, unless you had any, Madam Chair.
No.
Okay, then we'll move forward to public comments, where people, members of the public who would like to speak are welcome to do so, but need to limit their comments to 3 minutes. I am not sure that I see anybody looking to speak, and we have not received any requests, so I believe it would be okay if we move forward to the next section. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, we will move to new business, where we have 3 items today. This is the first time this committee has met in a little bit of time, so you have some relatively broad items to kind of allow for some discussion. The first item is to discuss a potential apex drilling site at the former Shreveport Country Club. This was an item that was mentioned in a previous regular session, and several commissioners have districts that have property near there, but I believe it is in Commissioner Burrell's district.
Correct. And I wanted to go ahead and ask Commissioner Epperson and Commissioner Atkins to share any information that they learned at the meeting.
I didn't attend
You
that
didn't
meeting.
attend?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Burrell and I.
Oh, okay.
have
Okay,
to
I'm so
attend.
sorry.
Commissioner Burrell, it's your district. I'll give you the privilege of speaking first.
Well, as you know, I asked the administration to get Public Works to go out to the country club, old country club golf course, Shreveport Country Club golf course off of Lake Shore, and it's also off of Greenwood Road, going into that property to see whether or not they were starting to build a road in there, because they had started to cut down a lot of the shrubbery and stuff and trees that were in there. I haven't gotten that information yet for him to see whether or not he verified that, but they're continuing to work out there. This happened to be in the section where they're drilling. I live in that section. Mm-hmm. And at first Paloma had it. Paloma Gas, what you call it?
I think I have to call him Paloma.
Paloma Gas Company. They initially had the property and or the section that they were supposed to be drilling, and undoubtedly Apex, which is another gas company, must have bought it from them or merged. I'm not sure.
Apex acquired Paloma.
Okay, Apex acquired Paloma. But when Paloma had it, we had several meetings, community meetings, in order for them to approve the drilling sites. And initially, they pretty much assured me that they would not drill in the country club golf course area. They said that they could drill it from the north, in which the north section bordered Hillary Huckabee Drive. Mm-hmm. And if you are familiar with Hillary Huckabee Drive from Hearn maybe over to I-220. There's no residential areas in there. Most of that land is inundated, so I can see that being a possibility. But after Apex got it, it seemed like there was more emphasis being placed on country club, where a country club golf course, you have residents that live around the golf course area. Although it's a pretty big size golf course, and there's a possibility that they would not create too much of disruption to the community. We need to have some assurance that they don't. I have relived Commissioner Epperson's episode with all these gas companies. I've had the experience even before him, I believe, at Twilight Meadows, when they first started to drill way out there, and had issues with the residents of Twilight Meadows with dust and big trucks and that type of thing. So I've had experience with it going way back. But to make a long story short, we received a letter from Apex saying that there was no disapproval in the meetings that they had, the community meetings, and that's not true. Everyone I've gone to, there were pushback on this because people was concerned. Yeah, they want the money, but they don't want the problems. And I know for myself that I voiced those concerns at every meeting that I've been to. So after we got that letter saying that there was no concern, the Country Club neighborhood sent a letter down to the Department of Natural Resources,
DNR.
because they're supposed to be having a hearing, I believe, on the 3rd. I think their final hearing on the 3rd to tie down some of this. And I know they sent
Of September or October?
September. And I sent a letter. I had Jeff to draft one to send down, and send it through the Senate, send it through Senator Jenkins' office. So hopefully we'll get some sort of response from that, and that's kind of where we are at this point.
Thank you. Commissioner Brill. Commissioner Atkins, did you want to add to that?
I don't have much to add, no. I think Commissioner Burrell covered it well.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions concerning the Apex drilling in the site of the Shreveport Country Club?
Let me add this, Madam Chair Lady. I just recently was informed that there's a development group, not the one that you talked to today, told me about today, but Senator Jenkins had mentioned that there was a group out of Dallas, maybe out of Houston, but he said out of Dallas, that is looking to develop that golf course, and I'm not sure how that's going to affect that too. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Epperson.
So we are going to await some response from Commissioner Barrera's letter through Senator Jenkins
Yeah,
for our next step.
that's all we can do at this juncture, because they're going to have that, what they call a pre-approval conference down in Baton Rouge.
So do you think maybe you could get that information and share with us on Thursday?
Well, after the 3rd, I guess they would have that information.
Thank
At
you.
least some indication of where they're going with it.
Okay, are there any more questions or concerns? Okay. So let's go on to 6.2, discuss Louisiana Department of Energy and Natural Resources proposed regulations governing the decommissioning and required financial security for solar-powered generation facilities.
What's the background on that?
Chair.
I do not know.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Epperson, if you
I
want to
brought
share.
this up.
That's correct.
I received an email, I don't know if everyone else did, I think through our Police Year Association relative to this issue.
Yes.
Correct.
And I just wanted to share it with the committee, and hopefully I thought that they may respond to the Police Year Association executive committee as to what this meant. So, you know, we may not have the information today, but I think it's worth exploring. Don't we have a site, or didn't we have a site planned for somewhere in North Caddo on this solar?
Yeah.
It's in play?
Is in-
You're right, right, okay, so that's,
In District
that was my
1?
concern, just in the event that other areas of the parish may be looking at a similar type situation.
Madam Chair, question.
Yes, Commissioner Burrow.
Commissioner Epperson, when you said that the executive committee of the police jury, are you talking about the state, the national, the state executive committee for police jury of Louisiana?
Our local police year association
The state,
out of Baton Rouge. Guy Cormier, our executive
That would be
director.
the state.
Right, it came through them.
Okay.
So maybe it would be wise if we contacted them and see if they could expound on what that meant, or the Department of Natural Resources, I guess, where it came from.
And just you know, so that y'all are aware of what resources are available there. If you click on that link, it does have the letter that was sent from Guy Cormier and the Police Jury Association, and essentially what they're asking is they're providing a schedule for submitting feedback if we would like to submit feedback or comments, or a public hearing schedule that the state is having related to this issue. They also have a link to the state's page discussing some of the issues surrounding this. So if this is something that is of interest to you, you can go to their site and learn a little bit more about what they're discussing and how you can comment on it. Should y'all want to draft some sort of like a group response, it would need to be done really in as an agenda addition this week, because their deadline to receive formal responses is September 9th. But their deadline to receive individual responses is not until September 26th.
Another question, Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Burrow. And then we're going to
I guess the
move
red-
to administration.
Thank you. I guess the red flag for me is decommissioning. Are they decommissioning the agency, or are they decommissioning what?
Okay, so I'm going to, do you mind if I allow?
your meeting.
Okay, so I'm going to ask administration to respond, to answer a few of these questions. And then also, right now, this is affecting District 1, correct?
Could be.
It could have been.
Statewide.
This is a statewide proposal that the state is proposing to implement some certain guidelines for solar companies. And so essentially, the commission can state, I guess, its position on these new laws. I'm going to let Mr. Walker kind of give you an idea of what's being proposed in the new regulations, proposed
you.
regulations.
So I read through the material that was attached. It is essentially saying that any development of solar over 10 acres has to be permitted through the state agency. You have to notify all adjacent neighbors before you build. And then the amount of money, there has to be an estimate of what it would take when the solar panels have ended, their useful life. The amount of money that it would take to disassemble the whole thing, to return it to its natural state, that amount has to be set aside by whoever's going to be building it. And you have to verify that you have the money to be able to disassemble that. And then when it does stop being used, you have to disassemble it.
Thank you for sharing the information. Commissioner Atkins, what did you want to share?
Well, I think Mr. Walker clarified a lot of things, but generally, I don't see any problem with having a state mandate along those lines, but generally, a responsible landowner would also negotiate the decommissioning requirements with the company that's developing the project. And the agreements that I'm somewhat familiar with are very similar to what Mr. Walker was saying. So it sounds like the state is in line with general the general state of the industry right now. Although I don't know that I've seen that they actually have to put an escrow account for the decommissioning costs. I mean, it makes sense, but I just know that like the larger companies will just guarantee it with their own balance sheet, you know. So I don't have a problem with an escrow account. But
Yeah, I think I'm pleased to see this, that especially for the decommissioning, if the property is no longer being used.
Point of clarification, based upon what John had just said, then decommissioning means that you stop the use of solar whenever you stop the use. That's the decommissioning. Take my
economic and they remove it.
All right, thank you.
If I may, I believe it's specified that if they are non-producing for more than 12 months, then they are declared decommissioned, and then you have to disassemble. And I do believe there's options for escrow versus guarantee. There's different options that satisfy, but it is essentially that you are responsible for decommissioning.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner Epperson.
you finished?
Yes, sir.
My reason for bringing this forth because there are, I think at our, about the State Police Jury Association meeting about a year prior to 2025, we had a company there, and they were actively soliciting people with acreage. Something that some people sitting there, they got land in places that it's really not economically feasible to put anything else on, but it's a possibility that they could use that acreage to generate some money through that particular type industry. So I think we should make sure that we articulate this to our residents in Caddo Parish and make sure that they're engaged too, because those companies, it is some companies out there actively seeking amount of acreage to utilize that type facility on. And secondly, don't we have a DNR office here, right? I think we do.
Office of Conservation.
Right, so maybe, I was wondering if it would be possible that we could get an agent to come down and let them speak to us personally as to what this is, rather than trying to go down to Baton Rouge or have some of our citizens go down there. It'll be on public record. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Epperson. Yes, Commissioner Burrell?
Madam Chair, may I ask, I know the solar power, or solar farms are issues that seem to rub some people the wrong way, whether it is our oil and gas folks or whatever the case may be. Given the fact that these solar farms, it does take up a certain amount of acreage. But if somebody owns that property, I'm not understanding what the conflict is to have a solar farm there. If somebody can answer that for me.
I can tell you some personal opinions of blight. It's ugly, makes noise. Some people see it to be,
Solar farm makes noise?
yeah, it's like, it's
Not
the
like
same.
windmill.
Well, it's,
You got a
I just
generator?
left a state that has tons of solar panels across them, and it's as controversial as windmills, hurting animals, and so I do not own land. This is not a personal, like, I'm just telling you what I've heard.
Yeah, no.
You know, I don't own land. I feel like maybe Commissioner Lathers and Epperson and Crackman are the ones that, you know, y'all have the rural land with the opportunity, you know. If you want to touch on that, and
like I stated, some people in my district has that acreage. Had a company that's been advocating for going around soliciting.
Right.
And it's an opportunity for those people to draw some income off of some land that's just sitting there that they're paying taxes on.
Right.
And I just want to make sure that they understand, the process now with this new regulation coming out, because 2 years ago, when that company was with our Police Jury Association advocating on behalf of soliciting land for that purpose, these rules weren't in place. So that's why I would ask that if we could get a representative from
Right, understood.
DNR
Yeah.
to come down.
Yeah, I think that's
and
great.
address us rather than, having to try to go down where, you know how it is, same with the oil and gas drilling, when they had the public meetings down in Lafayette or Baton Rouge, average homeowner can't, go
Right,
down.
right.
But we come here and get it on the record, and we can disseminate it. And I just want to make sure that, I know everything the permits is generated through the Department of Natural Resources out of Baton Rouge, right? So that leaves us totally, we don't have anything to do with it whatsoever.
Now, this is a proposed legislation. All the commission can do, I guess, is take a position on the legislation if you wanted to. And I think Jeff was saying September 9th is the date they'd like to have any support or opposition.
Is it possible for y'all to invite somebody to come speak, or is
We'll
okay?
do our best to get
Okay.
someone here. Now, I don't know that we'll get someone here before September 9th.
Okay.
We'll try our best.
Okay.
I think the public hearing in Baton Rouge is September 26th.
Okay, thank you. Is that all, Commissioner? Okay, Commissioner Atkins?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Although we haven't, solar and wind were really hot prior to the current administration, and they've cooled down a bit, but I think that we will see solar and wind continue to be on the radar screen for power generation into the future. Of course, I personally prefer combined cycle gas turbine. I think it's a more efficient, more effective, more reliable source of energy, but I think that we're going to kind of need an all-of-the-above kind of approach as AI data centers and electric vehicles increase our demand on electricity. So we'll see kind of an all-of-the-above approach to developing electrical generation from combined cycle gas turbines, from wind, and from solar. But if you look at solar, part of the problem is it takes like 7 to 10 acres per megawatt to generate a megawatt of power. So to generate the equivalent of a 500 megawatt combined cycle gas turbine, that would require 3,500 acres of land. 5 times 7 is 3,500. So it's very demanding on its requires a big footprint. But to my knowledge, I've never actually stood beside a solar facility, so I didn't know they made much noise. But go ahead.
I just listening to people. I don't know. I've
Okay.
never been next to one.
Yeah, I mean, but
So
I could see.
it's a energy
There's probably a hum.
hum. It's a hum. Yeah, a hum
a
is
hum,
what I've
or
heard.
and maybe
Yeah.
but you've got a lot of metal and silicon plates there, so maybe there's a little.
Yeah, and a lot of people are concerned about the electricity. Whatever. I don't.
But to Ken's point, it's also I understand some people might not want to be next to a solar farm, as long as I think we have a sufficient barrier, and I think that these rules and regulations are proposing certain barriers or buffer zones between the solar farm and any housing. And I think they also are proposing some vegetation associated with those buffers.
It's great.
So those will help solve that or address that issue.
I
But-
also
but-
like the timeline of having to disassemble.
Yeah, but I also think it's important to allow landowners, to Ken's point, if you have a landowner who has land that's not being used or is being sub-economic, not being used for its ultimate economic opportunity or potential. Thank you. Who are we to say they can't develop that potential? And I think it really could be. It can generate some life-changing kind of potential for certain landowners that may have some marginal pasture land that can barely.
For sure.
Barely
Appreciate
pay
that.
the taxes. So anyway, just wanted to give those thoughts.
Yeah, thank you.
As a final note, Madam Chair, I was just listening to a report, a news report on solar energy, and they were saying that China will lead the world in solar energy production, outpacing the U.S. and it seemed like it's some benefit to it for them to say that they would be the leading country in producing solar energy. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes.
As we close out this segment, so would it be this committee's wishes to have a representative from DNR come and
Yes.
maybe expound on this particular proposal?
Yes, I think that's great. So with that said, I also would like to say, Commissioner Atkins, I agree with what you said, that there's going to take many different forms of energy moving forward. So appreciate your comments. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your thoughts, your concerns. Yes, Commissioner Lazarus, anything to add? So maybe go to 6.3.
And that's just a general
Which
discussion related
we've-
to natural resource concerns and developments in Caddo Parish. This was just an opportunity for any committee members who may have something going on in their district they wanted to make everyone else aware of.
Commissioner Lazarus?
None from me.
Commissioner Epperson?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Weaver, I think I had sent forward an email from Brad Driggers in the Greenwood area relative to some drilling noise activity off Shirley Francis Road.
You send it today?
No, I think it was last week. I think I copied Brad on it also.
Brad.
No, not Brad, Joshua.
Yeah, I have to look and see about
Okay.
that. and get
Well,
back.
well, all I wanted to do is just let them know that there's a process. If they're talking about the noise on the drilling rig, that I think we send our
Yeah,
guy to was.
I mean, we can send Frank out there or
Right,
Tremaine. Or
with a
Tremaine.
noise monitor.
Yeah,
But if you didn't get it out, I'll resend it. That's all I wanted to let you know.
I got
And
you.
these will be issues at some of those potential sites that they was talking about over at the country club as far as moving that too. But we do have a process in place for the noise. And the parish will send out and put a noise monitor up.
Yeah, the activity has picked up from the last 12 months, in Caddo. So.
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Epperson, Commissioner Burrow, any concerns? Last question.
Let me get a clarification from Ken, something he just stated about the noise monitoring. You're saying that we do have a process now, because you dealt with these issues earlier, and I'm sure that you have done your due diligence to try to help curb some of this stuff. So I won't have to go back and reinvent the wheel when it comes to my district.
I mean,
Okay, I'll
like
yield.
in your district where we were talking about earlier, the country club, that's all in the city limits of Shreveport. So we wouldn't be doing any monitoring in the city. So the city does their own monitoring. So just to make everybody clear, everything, all the old country club and all the surrounding area where the residents are in the city limits. So our department wouldn't.
Since I live in an urban district, it's definitely a concern of mine. So I would have to deal with the city, is what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Atkins, I know you're just sitting in. Any final thoughts? Okay, and I want to recognize that Commissioner Crackman has arrived. We've been talking about rural area. Anything you have to say with natural resources? Any general concerns or thoughts?
Well, since, I came in late, I missed everything. On this drilling, are we talking about water? Is that correct? Are they talking about water drilling in the country club? They're talking about oil?
No, we're talking
Well-
about gas drilling.
Interesting, okay. And then the implementation of the rules where it concerns solar panels or solar farms? or as some of us call them, solar compounds, we don't have anything to do with that, right? All they have to do is notify us, correct?
They're just notifying us of the proposed regulations and asking if there's any comments. They have to notify the residents and then the police, juries, the commission.
Right.
And there's, actually, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
Administrator Bryant. There's actually a list of different things that they're proposing, some of which I think are great. One is having a timeline of if it's not in use to actually tear it down. So, and Commissioner Atkins talked about green barrier, buffer zones, things like that. So I think it's definitely something to read, to check into. And
Yeah, I read all of those
Okay.
and all the mitigations and everything, which of course I can appreciate because I'm the only, commissioner with a solar farm.
right, I thought that you had some in your district.
Right, and well, one right now, prayerfully no more, but I do have one, and I don't think, it doesn't fall within the confines of these new rules. It doesn't have the acreage that's required.
Okay.
But I do appreciate that there are rules because originally it was just kind of a free-for-all, so, oil and gas has rules, they should have rules, that basically mirror because it's just as much blight and noise and whenever you talk about the construction of these things, so. Anyway, I don't have any other questions or anything else.
Okay, thank you so much. And
Madam Chair,
yes, Commissioner.
since Mr. Crackman is here, you was trying to tell us what the environmental problems were
Yeah, yes,
associated with
that's
it.
great.
Could you share that with us?
With some of the concerns, I've never lived around, I've seen them and large ones outside of the state. I've seen flying over, I've actually seen, but I don't know anything, so tell us about it. The noise, the damage, the blight. Yeah, but environmentally, what people's concerns are.
Well, I mean, my biggest concern, of course, is to the farmer. The solar companies are leasing property from the farmland to put up solar panels. Now, let's say that they, do collect their dollars and skip town. Well, now with these rules in place, it's my understanding they have to clean everything up. Now, a lot of these panels go on top of concrete. And so with these rules in place, you would, the way I read it is they have to return the land back to the way it was so it could be farmed again. That's quite a bill. Now, as far as the environmental discussion with the panels themselves, the battery packs and all the other things, it's my understanding they're immense. I don't know all of the ins and outs. I'm not a tech guy. I don't know anything about any of that. But from what I can tell is the damage that is done well outweighs the progress of the actual power source. But I'm not going to sit here and, talk about something I know very little about. But from what I can tell, there's not a whole lot of gain from these things. So I do appreciate these rules because there are, I think, multiple solar companies that are in my District 3 that I can think of that are looking at more in other locations. One that's just west of probably my third largest municipality. And those folks over there really don't want it. And I think these rules are going to kind of knock it off and make them look for something that's a little more rural, if anything at all. So.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. Okay, are there any other questions or concerns? So we're going to have someone come or ask someone to come and share the information about the outcome. And then we're also looking to find the information from the September 3rd meeting from the hearing. So that's it. Meeting adjourned or a motion?
Move for adjournment.
All in favor?
Ken?
That's